Look how bad these ignition wires are. Someone tried to solder them up. They look really bad. Had a bunch of electrical tape around them. This is your ignition immobilizer wires. So I'm gonna get some proper connections on these, get that cleaned up, clean up some wires over here, and work on getting the new frog pod in there and the AEM gauges and stuff all hooked up today. Try to see if I can knock that out, and then we'll move on to the next step. So let's get at it. There you go, guys. Check that out. A lot better. Each one soldered. You got the white and black, the yellow and black, the solid yellow, and then you got the, then what's that, black and white and all white wire right here. All of them are nice and soldered. It's got that coating on the joints. I use some of these connectors with the soldering in the middle and this heat shrink stuff on the end. When you heat it up, it just kind of melts right to it. So I'm still going to throw some electrical tape around each wire though, either way. But at least they're a lot cleaner. They're not all boogered up like these, looking really bad. So exposed as well. So yeah, got those cleaned up, you guys. I'm gonna move on to the next thing, but it looks a lot better than what it was, and I feel better about that. So get some electrical tape around each one of those just for extra security, and we'll move on. Check it out, guys. All right, guys. So I got the connectors from Y-Wire. These are your EV6 plugs to your factory Honda connectors. So I got them in here. I already got the first cylinder 1, 2, and 3. I just got to put the last one on here, which is really simple. They just plug right in. It's just a jumper harness. It's hard to do it with one hand, but you get the idea. I just plug in, and I'm just going to tuck it all back behind there, and then we're going to work on the fuel system, which I've been trying to find out. That's some AN, I believe, AN6 or AN8. I believe, yeah, it's AN8 fittings here. Just waiting on the fuel filter, and I'll be working on making some fuel lines, getting the fuel regulator mounted up eventually, and we should be pretty close to getting some fuel. Then work on the spark, and then we should be able to almost hear this thing fire up here real soon, guys. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Ran into a little issue with the B16 turbo build. I had to pull the transmission back out, and I'll explain why. So last night I was up doing a valve adjustment on the motor, and I did cylinder number 1, I did number 3, but when I get to cylinder number 4, I would spin the crank. And it would literally just stop. It just literally just clunk. And I was like, okay, what is going on here? So I reversed the engine, rotated it back clockwise, which, you know, I was just testing things out. And then it stops again when it gets back to almost 180. So I don't know what the heck was going on. And so I pulled the belt off, and then I spun the bottom of the motor so the cams ain't moving, and it would do the same thing. So the only thing I could think of was it's probably something going on with inside the transmission. But it's not the transmission, actually. The input shaft, it spins just fine all the way. Nothing binds up. But what I did notice, I don't know if you can see that on camera, right there, there's a little nick right there. And then you look on this, I don't know if this is normal or not normal, but I would say normal. If anybody's ever ran in this issue, because this is an action clutch, you know, it's expensive clutch. You can see right there, and just right there, it hits on the case. So not 100% sure why, but I know I torqued everything down to spec and did everything right. So, but at least it's not anything internal, which is good. It's not anything wrong with the motor. It just hits right there, you guys. Just nicks right on the inside of the case. So I'm gonna go ahead and just grind that down just a little bit, just Dremel it down, probably just notch this a little bit as well, and then I'm gonna put the transmission back on there and see if it still does that, because it just literally just stops me on cylinder 4. So luckily I have to do a valve adjustment first before I started, because that would have been a bad noise starting this engine up, and it was just hitting really bad. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that clearanced out real quick, and then get the transmission back up, and then we're gonna move on with this motor because I am super close. I just need to get the fuel set up. I have a new fuel filter sitting over there. Just got to get the lines ran and a couple other things, oil feed line, and we're almost there to get this thing started. So I'm gonna try to get this figured out and fixed first, though, because yeah, that really worried me a lot because I didn't know what the heck was going on. It just literally just stopped me from rotating the engine. So yeah, I'm gonna knock this out and then I'm gonna move on to some other things and see where we get. All right, guys, got it all back put together. Got the I grinded out a little bit of that area on the inside of the transmission, and then excuse me, I grinded off a little bit off the clutch. Not the clutch, but the pressure plate, that little area. I took off maybe a couple centimeters, if that. It was barely touching, but it's clearance now. That's what it matters. It does spin all the way around. The valve adjustment's done. Got the new fuel filter put on there. The vacuum block is put on the back here. So now I can run the boost gauge and all that stuff. I do have the frog pod. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see in here. So I got the frog pod installed here with the boost gauge and the wideband, and all the wires are just kind of run down here at the moment because I'm going to be going over each one of these, and then I'm going to be tucking all this wire stuff up underneath the dash somewhere where it's not going to rub up against anything or, you know, cause any interference, and it's easy to get to. So that's going to be later on. All this stuff's already been soldered. Just got to let you tape that stuff on the ignition side. But the wideband and boost gauge is all right here, and we can get all that stuff ran through the firewall. And I'm waiting on a couple fittings for the regulator, because I'm going to be mounting the regulator off the rail here and then just run the gauge right off the top of here. So waiting to do that. Then I got to get these bungs welded up for the valve cover and run a catch can. But rather than that, guys, to get it started, it's honestly just, I mean, a fuel line here, fuel line there, and retune the ECU, and then, you know, plug up some vacuum lines, obviously. But rather than that, she's almost ready to fire, guys. Super close. I've been saying that for a while. I've been saying she's ready to fire, ready to fire. I get it, but every time I try to work on this car, it's usually just one little tedious thing after another. So, but I'm very picky about this build. I want it to look right. I want it to perform right. I want it to be really easy to troubleshoot, and that is the goal. Super, super simple. So, oh, and I got the clutch line ran right here. So, yeah, guys, it's coming along pretty good. And I got some other things going on. I'm going to be cleaning up. And as you can see, I do have the RX-7 in the shop over here. So big plans for that coming. And I'm really excited. This year, the end of the year or beginning of next year, the RX-7 is going to be one of the best things I'm going to be bringing to the channel. So that's the goal. It is in the shop, you guys. I'm going to move it around, though. I'm going to clean up some of this mess. Got to tear down this motor. But I'm going to keep going at it for tonight. See how far I can get. And then, yeah, you guys, just keep up with me. So let's keep moving on. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Been working on the turbo B16 setup over here, you guys. Intercooler. Working on getting the piping mocked up. That Mishimoto intercooler is looking really good. This is a 3-inch piping kit that I got a while back, and I was going to use it on my red Civic, but things are about to change when it comes to my car. So I figured I'd go ahead and use it for his car. But man, that thing is looking beast. Looking good. I do need to just raise this up. I can move that up just a little bit, straighten her out, but she's looking perfect, you guys. So what I'm doing right now is I am working on getting the last charge pipe here to run down, and I think I'm gonna cut this nice 90 and run it straight down, and then just make another piece that connects right to that one. Now the turbo side over here, literally once I get this adjusted, undo these bolts here. I can clock the turbo just enough, but this 90 little elbow right here, I don't have to do anything. It literally fits perfect. Once I get it moved over just a hair, this thing will connect straight to this piping. And rather than that, that whole side's done, you guys. And all I gotta do is make, I think, a couple cuts to make this one fit. And then I'll do a DIY bead roll crimp on it. And the turbo piping's done. The intercooler is mounted. It's not 100% where I'm gonna put it yet. I do still want to adjust it maybe just a little bit down, maybe 1/4 of an inch, just a hair, to keep it nice and straight, because I want that nice, clean, straight look, you know. I don't want it to be all up and down and ugly, but that thing looks beast. You guys, full 3-inch intercooler piping, Mishimoto, but she's looking good. So I've been going at that, getting it done. I did get the vacuum block mounted on there. Running all my boost sources and everything's gonna be on there. I do have a fuel line fitting I have to fix or get made just to run here to there. And then we were gonna try to start it up the other night, but we didn't have everything we need. So this is coming back off. Waiting on the fitting to get this mounted here, the regulator, and the gauge will go right there. So a couple more things I got to do when it comes to the fuel side, but the intercooler piping, God, look at that. Dude, that looks so good. It tucks so well. I do have some pads back here just so it doesn't rub from the intercooler right now. So it will actually go back maybe about 1/4 of an inch, a little bit more. So, you know, none of that will touch. So it'll move back just a hair. But it wraps perfectly to the turbo, you guys. I mean, it's routed straight to the turbo. So it should look good. It should work for now. I'm gonna finish up the intercooler piping and get all this stuff mocked up. So that's off the list. So this thing should look good, and it's just a few vacuum lines and some fuel lines, guys. We're really close. I'm gonna get to it, get things going on this, rolling, and get the intercooler piping all done, and then just get another step closer to hopefully get this thing running, you guys. So it's coming along good. She's looking good. So I'm gonna get back at it. Let's get to it. All right, guys, I got the clamp put on here and this side. I was working on the piece that runs up here to the intake, and I got it cut where it'll run straight down and connect straight to that bottom tube. I did have to make a quick extension here to a 90, and this is probably where we'll be mounting the blow-off valve right here. So, and I had to cut a straight piece down, and I did do it's not the best, don't judge me, or go ahead, I don't care, but I did a DIY crimp job, or a DIY freaking rolling job on there. Use my snap-on pliers here. That little area right there is what I use to make this groove, so keeps the coupler from sliding off, hold a little bit of boost pressure. Like I said, I'm not an expert on it, I don't do it every day, so, but it does work. So I got that piece here, which is gonna go straight here. Then I got the elbow that goes up, so I gotta go ahead and crimp this side right here where I cut. So I'm gonna get that one done, and then we're gonna get everything mocked up, and then rather than that, all I gotta do is clock the turbo and put the last 90 on there. And the intercooler piping is done, you guys. It's completely done. Now I rather weld this piece here, or this piece to this piece. Like, I'd rather make this all one unit. Like, that was connected. I'd rather go ahead and just weld this to here, but I'll take care of that on another day. And then we do have some, eventually these will be gone too, because we do have the Mishimoto V-band clamps that will probably be welding on here eventually to eliminate these couplers, but we'll do that on another time. Right now I just want to get it all mocked up and just see how it's going to look, and she's looking phenomenal. So a couple more things to do. We'll take care of that on another day, but just want to get the piping all mocked up for now, and then we'll work on the final touches on it. So keep moving. Check it out. Piping's all done. I do need to cut a hole for the blow off valve, but the piping is completely ran, nice and smooth down and around. I do want to just get this welded up. I don't like having a clamp here and then another clamp there, but for right now this will work. But we probably put the blow off valve either right here, nice and low and tucked, or we're gonna put it right up here. We'll see when that time comes. But it's completely ran all the way around. And then the last problem I have is right here, guys. Darn it, I ran out of space to get this to mount up to the intercooler, or to the turbo, and the turbo does move. I got the clock, but it's about right there is where you want it. But the only problem is I have about 3 inches gap right here. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do about that. And I'll figure that out here soon. I don't know. I got a couple ideas. Maybe notch the frame out just a little bit to raise this up higher and just spin this piping a little bit higher up right here. Don't know yet exactly, or I don't know. I gotta extend something. I'm gonna figure it out though. I'm gonna figure it out. It's not gonna be a big deal. That's the last thing I need to do, and the intercooler stuff is pretty much done. Oh, and making brackets for the bottom part here to mount right here and there to here and there. So I'll make some little angle iron brackets, drill holes, put some bolts in, be done with that. That'll be easy, 5 minutes worth of work. But for now, guys, she's looking good. It's getting a little hot and sweaty out here. I'm gonna go ahead and start on working on finish tearing this down and see what this motor looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on a time lapse real quick, and we'll tear this down, and that's probably gonna be as far as I'm gonna get tonight. So let's get to it. So I got everything torn apart. Well, not everything. I had to come to a stop, you guys, and let me show you the reason why. So I got everything over here laid out, the head, the cams, everything, and so this is why I had to stop. I don't know if this motor is going to be any good because, let me find my flashlight. Look at the rust in the cylinder wall. And I mean, there's a big ring down there. I don't know if my camera's picking that up good enough where you guys can see, but you can see where water has been settling in there and sitting for a very long time. So, I don't know if this motor's going to be any good. I mean, it's still good. It definitely got to be oversized. You know, obviously you're going to have to go, I'm going to have to, I don't know. We're probably not even going to use this motor. So, I have another block and stuff, but it's most likely we're gonna have to build another motor, and this is not going to be just a budget build anymore. Budget build's over with, you guys. So I guess we're gonna go along with building the motor, and I don't know if I can hone that out. I don't know. I mean, it's not pivoted. Like, I don't know if a clean home will do that. I don't know. Right there, it really scares me right there. I don't know. I think it's just bad. I'm not even gonna. It's got to go to the machine shop and go oversized pistons. But rather than that, that's gonna be my stopping point for tonight. I'm freaking hot. I'm been sweating. That Accord that I was working on runs great, by the way. Fuel pump, fuel lines, did a valve adjustment and all that stuff on it, so it runs good. It's sitting outside. It does need a battery and an alternator, but rather than that, that Accord runs good. So I'm gonna be working on the other one here soon and getting some of this other stuff knocked out. I'm probably gonna work on this some more tomorrow and get some electrical done. But I was not expecting this, so I got to let the person know who owns this block what's going on, because they're gonna have to find another motor, or I guess I'm gonna have to donate another motor to them. So we'll see how it goes, guys. But on that note, it's good seeing you all again. Peace out.